On the morning of February 27, 2026, a 68-year-old man stepped out of his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and disappeared. This was William Neal McCasland. Before retiring in 2013, he served as a major general and the commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory. In that role, he managed roughly $2.2 billion in highly classified research, steering the development of directed energy weapons, advanced propulsion systems, and experimental aerospace materials. When investigators searched his residence, they found his phone and his prescription glasses left behind, but his hiking boots, his wallet, and a .38 caliber revolver were missing. The disappearance of a high-ranking military official with a head full of classified science immediately caught the attention of internet sleuths. Within days, amateur investigators began connecting McCasland's case to 10 other defense researchers and scientists who had recently died or gone missing. This case transformed a series of seemingly disconnected local tragedies into a single national security crisis, forcing the highest levels of government to respond. The online timeline traces its origins back to 2021 and 2022, focusing on two physicists, Ning Li and Amy Eskridge. Both women researched experimental anti-gravity and advanced propulsion concepts. Public records show Li passed away from Alzheimer's disease at age 78, while local police ruled Eskridge's death a suicide, following a documented battle with chronic pain. To understand these events, we have to look at this grid. These dots represent the roughly 700,000 personnel working in top-secret cleared positions across the U.S. aerospace and nuclear sectors. When you apply standard national mortality rates to a population this large, the mathematics are rigid. Over any 4-year period, hundreds of individuals within this specific demographic will succumb to natural causes, homicides, or suicides. Medical sociologists identify the public reaction to these deaths as apophenia. It is the psychological tendency to perceive meaningful patterns or conspiracies within random datasets. While the early deaths are tragic, basic statistics suggest they are the normal, random noise of a massive industry rather than a coordinated assassination plot. In 2025, the timeline shifts. We move from documented deaths with official causes to a cluster of people who simply disappeared. In May and June of that year, Anthony Chavez and Melissa Cassius both disappeared. Both lived in the New Mexico nuclear corridor, and both had ties to the Los Alamos National Laboratory. 2 months later, Stephen Garcia, a government contractor for the Kansas City National Security Campus, walked away from his Albuquerque home carrying a handgun and was never seen again. The most scientifically sensitive vanishing occurred earlier that summer. Monica Reza, a 60-year-old aerospace engineer, disappeared while hiking a trail in the Angeles National Forest. She was the director of materials processing at JPL, responsible for inventing Mondaloy, an advanced alloy designed to withstand the extreme heat of rocket engines. Public records show that Reza's materials research was funded by the Air Force Research Laboratory, the exact laboratory General McCasland used to command. These disappearances occurred within the same geographic cluster of New Mexico defense facilities. Investigators are now looking at how 5 different people with access to high-level secrets can vanish from the same region without leaving a trace. The situation escalated further in late 2025 and early 2026, when the timeline suffered a spike in violence. Nuno Loureiro, the director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, and Carl Grillmeyer, a Caltech astrophysicist, were both murdered. When General McCasland went missing weeks after Grillmeyer's murder, fringe conspiracy theories exploded into the mainstream. The core evidence for the first theory involves classified extraterrestrial technology. Following his military retirement, McCasland briefly served as a consultant for an aerospace organization founded by musician Tom DeLonge. Theorists also pointed to McCasland's past command at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, a facility with a long history of association with the Roswell incident. The alternative perspective, shared by some former federal agents, suggests that foreign intelligence services may be neutralizing American scientific assets. By early 2026, the internet had divided into 2 distinct narratives: an alien cover-up or a systematic assassination campaign. For the public, the evidence for either side was buried under a wall of conflicting reports. The overwhelming viral pressure eventually reached the halls of Congress. Lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee began requesting information from national security agencies regarding the missing researchers. By mid-April, the White House confirmed it was coordinating a holistic, multi-agency review of all the cases to identify any potential commonalities. President Donald Trump publicly addressed the situation, calling the cluster of cases serious stuff and expressing hope that the events were coincidental. The FBI director then confirmed the agency is actively looking for connections or nefarious conduct. Regardless of the nature of the initial threat, the viral speculation successfully forced the hand of the federal government, blurring the line between internet conspiracy and federal mandate. While the cases seem connected online, the confirmed closures tell a different story. Nuno Loureiro was killed by a mass shooter, Carl Grillmeyer by a local carjacker, and pharmaceutical researcher Jason Thomas died in an accidental drowning. Federal investigators have found no evidence linking these deaths to one another. This mass apophenia monetizes family grief and complicates police work, flooding active investigations with thousands of false leads. Yet once the solved murders and natural deaths are removed, a very real void remains. Monica Reza, Stephen Garcia, Melissa Casius, Anthony Chavez, and General Neil McCasland are still gone. Natural deaths and random violence have documented explanations. Highly cleared individuals vanishing into thin air without a trace do not. Psychological apophenia explains why we connect the deaths, but it cannot explain the disappearances. It leaves a chilling geopolitical mystery about exactly where the architects of America's most guarded technologies have gone.